I haven't been at the workshop much today because I've been busy, but I did get the tyres fitted. They are the Max Sport RB5 F3s. Road legal, E-marked, everything, but super soft, sticky tarmac rally tyres. Diameter wise, they're exactly the same as the 17s that were on the yellow one. So yeah, but obviously much fatter tyre and a whole shitload grippier and a lot lighter. All of this shenanigans is because Thomas has been carrying on wiring the car in. It's not finished yet, but he's, you know, mostly there. One thing it does do though is this. Power steering works. Sorry it's so noisy, but it's very echoey in this workshop. It sounds louder than it is. It also almost certainly needs a cam chain tensioner, because it's rattly at the top end a little bit. But from above the cam chain, that's no big deal. I need to take the cam cover off and change the tensioner for the, not the cam belt tensioner, that's different. On these, the cam belt runs one pulley on that side, and then there's a chain under this bit. It just goes around the cams to run both cams together, and it's a known common problem. It's this, look, and this needs replacing. Relatively simple, but the car seems to run. There's no dodgy knocking or any of that, so pretty sure I've said this before, but do as I say, not what I do, because I don't always do things that even I would suggest. And well, the engine is fucked. In fact, so's the turbo. The brand new fucking turbo, for fuck's sake. I'm laughing because if I don't laugh, I'd probably fucking cry or smash something. Yes, I would tell you what I've done wrong, but unfortunately I've not worked it out yet. Let me tell you the story. Basically, Thomas was doing the final wiring for the car. Well, not really the final, but enough to make it start yesterday or day before, whenever it was. And he got it started. Started literally first crank. He didn't even really mean to start it. It just boom, it was fired. And it seemed absolutely fine. And then, I mean, this probably ran for like, I don't know, not long. 30 seconds, a minute, I don't, hardly any time at all. But it started rattling from the cam tensioner. And on this, what I mean by that is not the cam belt tensioner. On these, you've got a cam belt at the front that runs one pulley. Then on the back of the engine, basically cylinder 4 end, there's a chain that goes between both the cams and runs each other basically, and there's a tensioner on there, and it sounded like that was rattling, and it's like, all right, turn it off. First thought was, yeah, that's fucked, because they're known to fail, you know, when they're old. But it did seem a little weird to me, because generally the engine seemed very, very fresh and good condition. The first thing that come to mind though is what people have told me in the past, and to be fair, I ignored it, which is that thing about do as I say, not what I do. people have suggested, more than one person, because it's just fucking common sense. These engines are known for the oil pickup to get sludged up, and therefore, you know, fucking the oil supply. And most people like just whip the sump off and clean out the oil pickup before you run the car. I didn't bother. So my immediate thought today was I'm going to take that sump off and have a look at the oil pickup, and I bet it was blocked, and I bet that's the problem, because most of the time that's the problem. Anytime they see like you know, the oil light come on or something, it's not an oil pressure problem from anything else, it's from the pickup being blocked. But I didn't do that. Number 2 mistake, and this was, well, a bit fucking stupid on our behalf. Didn't have an oil pressure gauge or anything hooked up when it was started, so I had no idea if there was oil pressure or not. Funnily enough, it arrived today, but anyway, bit late for that. Yeah, so anyway, took the sump off, everything looked normal, went to the pickup. I'll show you the pickup. It's not completely clean. There's a few little bits and pieces in it, but it's clear. It is actually quite good. So, thought, oh fuck, that's weird then. Maybe it is the, maybe it is just the cam tension is knackered. And then, I noticed this. Well, before I show you, have you ever seen Gold Rush on like Discovery Channel? Where they go looking for gold, and it's like they're getting it out the ground, you know, the old gold's just like mostly fucking sprinkles and shit, and they're like sifting through the sprinkles with their big machines. It's like specks of it, literal gold dust. Well, unless someone's been panning for gold in my fucking sump, or unless somebody's poured some gold glitter in my sump, that ain't fucking good. That is not good at all. Again, sparkly fucking oil is not good. Don't know what they are. They're not metal. That bit sure is. Some of that big chunks of metal. Yeah, not good. Look how fucking, look, gold. And there's like, oh shit. So yeah, something's broke. But my next thought was that shininess looks gold, as in bronze, not bearing material, which tends not to be bronze anymore. But you know what is fucking bronze? Turbo bearings. And lo and behold, I haven't had a look yet, but I've took the turbo inlet pipe off and had a feel, and there is an absolutely shit ton of play. Like, yes, like it is fucked. Bear in mind, it's never been boosted, never ran for more than, I don't know, 30 seconds or something by the sounds of it. But it's fucked. I put my finger in the oil return, you know, there. And yes, it was sparkly. So, yeah, it's fucked. So, I took off number 4 main bearing cap. Because obviously number 4 tends to be the last one to get any oil. Number 4 main bearing, that is, yeah, it's chunks missing out of it. It's fucked. The crank itself, that is actual loose chunks of the bearing still stuck to the fucking, not really stuck, it's literally, I can take them off, but they are, yeah, I mean now I just stuck it to my finger. Yeah, that's bits of the bearing all over the crank, and that's a scored crank as well, so the crank's knackered. Not like it matters because, you know, they're 10 a penny, but still. But that suggests to me at least, you know, that bearing material still being there suggests to me this fault has only just happened, as in it wasn't already broke when the car was started, and there was no bottom end knocking. You know what I mean? So I would say this just happened, which suggests to me it's a fault that we're maybe responsible for. Exactly what, I haven't worked out yet. Because obviously the next fault was maybe the oil pump's fucked. So I've took the oil pump off. Here is the oil pump. And in all honesty, the gears and everything look mint, like absolutely fine. The housing's not damaged or scratched or anything. The pressure release valve thingy bob, which is there, where is it? It's this one, isn't stuck open. You can see the ball bearing in the end and the oil not coming out. I really don't know. It's back. This is the O-ring. It goes in the pump where the pickup is, and it's not broke or anything, so it wasn't like it was just sucking air. So exactly what fucked it, I don't know. I was hoping, with all the shit I've removed so far, that I would have found a culprit. But all I found is broke stuff. So I'm not sure yet. I'm going to keep investigating. I hope I've not, and it's entirely possible, but because I was paranoid about it before, I actually have double checked. I hope I've not done something retarded, like put the fucking oil cooler lines the wrong way round. I'm fairly certain I haven't, because I double checked, I triple checked, but I'm running out of ideas to what's fucked it. I mean, yeah, it's possible it was already knackered, but it kind of don't look like it to me. And if it was already knackered, it doesn't seem knackered enough that it would have no oil pressure, so it wouldn't feed the turbo, because it wasn't knocking. The bottom end was not knocking. It was the top end was knocking at idle. Wow, number 4 was knocking at idle. The rest of it sounded fine, but the tensioner was knocking at idle, but with a bit of revs, which I guess gave it some oil pressure. I don't fucking know. That went away, but the bottom end wasn't noisy. And if it was fucked already, I would say it would already be knocking. I still think this is fresh. Don't know. But to be honest, whatever, it's broke. In previous videos, I said, like, who cares if this engine's broke or not? It's just a case of want to start it up to, you know, make sure everything runs fine, because these engines are 10 a penny. So if one's knackered, then whatever, just put the next one in. You know what I mean? But I didn't really bank on it killing the fucking turbo, because the way I presumed it'd be broke would be already broke, and it wouldn't just fucking starve the turbo of oil and kill it instantly, which it seems to have. So shitballs. Luckily, this is another reason I don't like using expensive turbos. It wasn't expensive, so it's like, you know, it's one of the more expensive parts. Is what, 400 quid, 350 quid, I can't remember, but it wasn't a whole lot of money. But yeah, it's not fucking ideal. Good news and bad news. Good news is I found a problem. That is key. People who break stuff or have failures and then just blindly, you know, upgrade things or whatever because something broke without knowing why something broke are fucking idiots. Because chances are there was nothing that needs upgrading. You need to find out what the fuck, why something broke. Simple as that. So I've been, that's why I've been, rather than just rip it all out and, you know, buy all new parts to rebuild it, first thing, I've been trying to do an autopsy and work out why the fuck it died. But the good news is, I found out why. So I no longer have to worry about that. I know what to fix for next time. The bad news is, and I kind of expected it, it's my fucking fault. It is my fault. Annoyingly, as well, it's a fault that I was well aware of being possible. I've seen it happen before, and I was that paranoid about it happening. I triple checked it, like, well, it was at least triple checked. I probably checked it more than 3 times. I checked it over and over and over because I was fucking paranoid that it was going to happen. It's a simple mistake to make. I checked it incorrectly every single fucking time. And let me show you, so this can really be a case of do as I say, not as I do, because I did do this, even though I knew it was a problem and I checked. What I will say is, rather than keep things in your mind, fucking write them down, because that was my problem. I was like, I had it, you know, I was looking at diagrams, had it in my head all worked out, right, that's it, and then what I had it in my head, what I pictured in my head was wrong. Let me show you. This little diagram here is what I should have done in the first place when checking if the shit I did was correct. This is a diagram of the remote oil filter and oil cooler line setup. It's very simple because car oil systems are very simple. They're not fucking anything to be scared of. There's no witchcraft, but if you fuck it up doing something silly, like I have, you will kill everything, like I have. So let me show you. This is very common on Toyota 1UZ engine swaps, because the standard oil filter position is in a very awkward place. So fitting a remote oil filter is very common, but it's very easy to get the lines mixed up on them. And that's what I've done on this, even though it's not as easy on this. Because I didn't write this fucking diagram, I ballsed it up. Basically, on oil filters, the oil goes into the filter from the side and out through the middle. So if you've got a remote filter, it will come out of the remote housing on the block from the side, but in through the side on the filter, because you imagine that is effectively would be on there. And then it comes out the middle of the housing where the filter is, into the oil cooler, out the oil cooler, and back into the middle of the one attached to the block. Because effectively, again, well, out to out, in to in. Quite simple. Unfortunately, because I didn't have the diagram, and because my brain was just on a fucking stupid one, even though I checked over and over and over, I connected the outlet here to the wrong one, to the middle. And you might think, so what? Backwards, big deal. No. Most filters have got anti-drain back valves, which are effectively one-way valves. And what that's meant to be for is to stop the oil draining out of them when the engine's turned off, basically so it keeps the oil in, so you know there's already oil ready to go every time the oil pressure is built up faster. They're not made as one-way valves as such. They're made as anti-drainback valves. They're mostly like a rubber diaphragm. Unfortunately, in a remote oil filter application, they would also accidentally work if you had it backwards as a one-way valve. And while, like I said, they're only rubber diaphragm, a bit of oil will get past. Not fucking much until maybe the anti-drainback valve has burst or something. So basically, you've got fuck all oil flow through there. That sounds like there'd be zero oil. But on 180s and on most engines, to be honest, at the filter housing, there is a bypass valve. You know, it opens at a certain pressure. There's one on the pump and one on the filter housing. Unfortunately, it's relatively small. So even if that does try and bypass this setup, it ain't going to be enough. So that would explain why the engine wasn't completely fucking dry of oil. Oil was getting around, just nowhere fucking near enough. And now everything's broke. So yeah, chances are highly likely, in my opinion, just from seeing what I could see with my eyes, like I shown earlier in the video, this is fresh damage. The engine was fine. I thought it would be. It looked quite fresh. And yeah, the damage looked fresh to me. I mean, I've been fucking about with engines so long, I've got quite a good eye for these things. And yeah, it didn't look like long-term wear and tear to me. So I was expecting some kind of monumental fucking ballser. But the typical ballser, as in the, you know, knackered oil pickup or whatever, absolutely, it looked great. Which again says to me the engine's good condition, because they're known for sludging up, and that's what blocks it, you know, when they're not serviced very well. But it's all very clean in there, apart from it looking like someone's been panning for gold. And that's because it was clean until it was ran for a short period of time with very little oil flow, because I put the line on backwards and fucked everything up. What a dickhead. So yeah, don't do that. Do as I say, not as I do. Ass. I mean, don't get me wrong, another fuck up, you know, regardless of me ballsing this up, another do as I say, not as I do, is the fact we didn't have even the oil light connected up when we start the car. No oil light, no oil pressure gauge. We just presumed it would all be fine, because even that bench engine, bang, straight away, massive oil pressure. The oil systems on these they're good and they're basic. As long as the pickup hasn't been blocked from bad servicing, generally it's rare for anything to go wrong. And to really fuck things up, you really need no oil pressure. So it was like, you know, send it. But sending it was without even an oil light, big mistake. I mean, literally, this arrived today, which is my AEM digital oil pressure gauge. Probably should have put that on before we started the car. So yeah, live and learn from my mistakes. Mistakes that I even knew already. This isn't fucking new to me. This is me rushing and being like, oh, fuck it, who cares, and whatever. And it was a stupid idea. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, we knew this engine wasn't going to be one that lasted me that long. I was always going to build something for it. But I at least wanted this fucker to just run as it was for a bit, just so we could drive it about, do a bit of development and whatever on it before building the proper engine. But I guess the proper engine is going to come first now, because This one's fucked, and all because of one line on the wrong way. So yeah, don't do that. It's very easy to do. I've seen it happen loads of times. I've seen it happen to many 1UZs, but yeah, I've done it on this, and it's fucking stupid. So yeah, the plan is with this now. I mean, I've got rods for this already. I've got bearings. I've got a full fucking rebuild kit, head gasket, the lot. So better build a proper engine for it. The only other thing you really need on these is exhaust valves, which are a couple £100, because the standard ones are a bit, they're known to fail, and obviously that can go wrong, can do some serious damage. Apart from that, I don't think there's any major parts I'd need to buy for the engine itself. I might see if I can get hold of maybe the inlet cam or the cams in general from an NA version, because they're a bit longer duration and higher lift, so it's an easy, cheap upgrade. I might not. And now that turbo's dead, I guess I better get a better one. And what I mean by better is there's hybrid versions of that turbo that I can get. I mean, it's a HX27 8.5 centimeter. The very slight upgrade from that would be a HE221, which is the same size wheels, just slightly newer wheels, newer style. Flows a little bit more. Main problem with HE221s generally is they've got smaller turbine housings, and I wanted to run this 8.5, but it's fine because I would carry on running this 8.5. But there's aftermarket hybrid ones with an even bigger compressor, same size turbine housing, no, turbine wheel, so it will fit in the housing with no machining, but it's like a 9-blade with like a super thin hub on it and everything, so it'll flow more. So it'll still be the same fitment, you know, direct replacement, just more power. I honestly think, I mean, I've never seen one proven, but looking at the specs and me being a bit of a turbo geek, I would say the hybrid's good for 450 brake or so, you know, it's a fair bit. Which suits me because obviously with the new engine, it'd be a waste to put good rods, good exhaust valves and all that shit, and then not run a lot of power. So yeah, I guess this is going to be 400, 450 brake right from the off. Trouble is, that also means I need to buy a new clutch and flywheel, because this one won't handle that. So yeah, more money that I've not really got at the moment. I reckon it's a couple of grand all in, if that. Turbo, yeah, a couple of grand probably. Clutch and flywheel is the most expensive part, but I didn't really want to spend a couple of grand. I don't even know if I've got a couple of grand to spend. So yeah, fucking not ideal. But I knew this was coming. I just didn't expect it to come like now. But it's my fault, so fuck it.